So, tonight on the menu, we're making quesadillas. So before you can actually make quesadillas, you need something to encase them in. So I'm looking at making tortillas right now. But this is going to be a battle of peril as well as a race against time. I can tell you why. With gluten-free batter, specifically like this, like you know how normally pancake batter is like super runny and awesome? That's what we're dealing with, folks. So this will be a perilous journey. What I'm doing is I'm just heating a skillet on medium heat with a little bit of coconut oil, just so we have something to work with, not just my hands and sheer luck. So let's get started, and hopefully I have hands after this, because we still have a whole meal to complete. So I'm going to quickly put the batter on here. Wet my hands, because, oh, we have to be quick, Okay. See what's happening here? So we're going to want to add a little bit more, because you notice how it's like kind of getting a little bit runny. We don't want it to be different thicknesses and different sides. This is actually going very well. If anyone's curious, if you're like, are your hands burning? It's actually going really well right now. So I'm just going to add more batter, because like who wants a quesadilla that size? That sucks. The thing about being gluten-free is you're pretty much living life on the seat of your fucking pants. Because you never see somebody who's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna use some whole wheat flour and fucking put my hand on a hot grill. That doesn't happen, right? So this is what we do so we can eat like normal folk here. Oh, it's cooking though, look at that. This is good stuff, okay. I'm gonna continue to spread it. I'm trying not to get too lofty with my ideals here, but I feel like this is going to work wonderfully. Look at that, it's starting to sizzle. It's starting to sizzle. Excellent. So now we'll just wait. I think I'm gonna wait for the sides to sort of start to bubble up. Like, you know, when you're making pancakes and it starts to look like it's cooked on the outside, that's what I'm gonna wait to do before I flip it here. So what did we just learn from that? Well, that we're not going to be making the tortillas in the skillet. Unfortunately, with this guy, I mean, it didn't turn out too bad. If you're just making a little mini quesadilla, maybe you just want a snack, this would totally work out. But if you wanted any larger than that, which I definitely do because it's dinner time, we'll be doing it on the fucking pizza stone. So what I've done is I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees, and while it was preheating, I just had the pizza stone chilling out in there. Now that will really help when we place it on top, it'll already start cooking. So that helps with time and things like that. So I'm just going to grab some parchment paper here. And what we're going to do is we're going to press out the remaining dough as flat as possible and as evenly as possible. So then when we cook them, hopefully in theory it'll be way more tortilla-like than this guy. The nice thing about this guy though is I think he's still going to hold up. So I feel like we're good to go. So again, I'm going to wet my hands. And there is a method to my madness for this. It just really helps because a lot of gluten-free dough can be really sticky. And the last thing you want is like swamp creature fingers when you're trying to operate things. I have like a little finger bowl, I'm so classy. So I'm just gonna take a large helping of this dough here and wet my hands so we can press it out. So this will work out a lot better in the long run, I feel like. Look how cute it is. Oh. You want it to be about 6 to 8 inches just so you can really pack it full of goodness. And again, it's really important just to take your time, make sure it's all coming evenly. I know it looks kind of bizarre right now, but once it cooks, it'll firm up and you'll be able to easily add your toppings to it, so that'll be nice. And if you actually want to know how to make these tortillas, maybe you should stick around for a little while, and maybe one of these days I will show you. Just saying. But that's for another day. I know not everybody's into the gluten-free living thing, unless out of necessity or whatever. So if you want to just get store-bought tortillas or whatever, actually the only store-bought tortilla I will use that's gluten-free that holds together is the La Tortilla brand. At least it's not corn or any of that crap. And it's all millet and sorghum flour, so whole grain, which is nice. So at least you're not just like eating, you know, empty calories for no apparent reason, so you're still getting some nutrition out of there. Now the tortilla I have here is almond meal, quinoa flour, flaxseed, coconut oil and chia seed, and there's also an egg in there just to bind it. It's easily to make it vegan as well though, but it just doesn't hold together quite as nice, so you just have to kind of keep that in mind when you're making vegan and gluten-free. It's really, really hard to get the whole thing to hold together, so I digress. Okay, now watch me whip this giant pizza stone into the oven. It's already starting to cook. Okay, so we'll revisit you in about 10 minutes time, sir. Alrighty, so I've now washed my skillet from the failed experiment, which ended up being a very delicious treat for our show while we were waiting for everything else, but I pre-chopped the vegetables this time, just so you didn't have to be dazzled by me trying to be entertaining while I chopped them. So I've got 3 kinds of bell peppers, but you can pretty much put anything you want in your quesadilla. I just, you know, went with what I had in my fridge, so I have yellow, red, green peppers and some celery. So I'm just going to heat the skillet with a little bit of coconut oil just to make it worth a girl's while here. Just a light amount, again about a teaspoon, no exact measurements needed. We're just gonna watch it get all melty on there. And something to really keep in mind with coconut oil too is you don't want to overheat, so you don't want to be heating your skillet on high heat at all, because you don't want to lose the nutritional value in the coconut oil. So you always want to stay on about medium heat, just so you can actually get the nutritional properties out of it, and it's not just kind of like fat layering your vegetables, which is the last thing we want when we're trying to actually really harness nutritional properties. Another thing I have kind of for our quesadilla stuffing is with gluten-free tortillas, usually kind of tomato-based things, like it's just too runny, so it caused the whole debacle to fall apart. So what I've done is I've just cooked up half a cup of quinoa with 3 tomatoes and some basil and herbs and things like that, just so we can still get the excellent flavor. Even more complete protein, which I can explain in greater detail why that's so important, especially if you're vegetarian. It just means essentially that you're getting all 9 essential amino acids right out of your food, which is awesome, so you don't have to pair like rice and beans or something like that. It's all in one food, you can't really go wrong. Not to mention there's tons of nutrients in quinoa. So we'll just get all of our veggies in there. And again, as I kind of went on and off on a tangent about, you can put anything you like in here. So if you want to add chicken or onions or whatever, go to town, man. It's just my preference, so that's what we're gonna do today. So we're gonna saute these guys, and then we'll just add some spices just to really dazzle our taste buds when the time comes. But first we'll just kind of start cooking the whole thing together, making sure our veggies are nice and soft for when we do put them in the oven. So even though I did line the whole thing with oil, I actually do like to predominantly cook with water, just so we're not adding any unnecessary sort of fats and oils to our dish. We want to keep it as healthy as possible, so yes, you kind of add a little bit just to get the ball rolling, but after that I find there's no difference for just cooking with water. Okay, so she's boiling. We're beginning to cook those vegetables now. They're starting to smell fragrant and delicious. So from here we're going to add some seasoning. And again, this is all based on preference, but just because it's a quesadilla, I'm just going to add some sort of Italian seasoning. So this one has some oregano in there, also a little bit of basil and chili flakes. I'm also going to add chili powder. Again, I just like to free pour, just to keep you on your toes. But I would estimate that I'm probably adding about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, and that just depends on how you can handle your heat. That is totally your call. So from here to just some garlic powder. I'm also going to add some fresh basil from the fridge. Oh, look at that. Ooh. Oh, we added some to the stove too, just for decoration there. So it's already starting to smell like infinitely better, just based on the few spices I've added alone. I also am going to add a little bit of cumin and probably smoked paprika as well, just to really keep up with kind of like a taco seasoning. I don't want anyone to think that I butchered their dish. I am trying to make a healthier version, but I don't want any angry letters either. And then we'll just add some fresh ground pepper. Alright, now we're just going to cook it up until all of the water's sort of dissolved and we've noticed that the vegetables are softening and succumbing to our will. It'll probably be, I would say all told, you're looking at cooking the vegetables anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes, just making sure they're tender. But you also don't want to steam the crap out of them and have them lose all their nutritional value on you. That smells good. Fuck. And as the vegetables cook, I yearn to have them in my face. Oh look, the tortilla's done! Woohoo! Again, I braved the heat. It will join its friend over here, and just wait until we're done with our vegetable cooking destiny. Then we shall assemble our troops and get to work. So we've successfully softened the veggies. We've prepared our tortillas for launch here. So what we're going to do is just kind of add the filling in. There's no real rhyme or reason how to do it. So I'm just kind of adding a generous helping here. Because we only have 2, so we need to make these guys count, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, so now I'm taking my quinoa mixture, and I'm just kind of forkfulling it over top the vegetable mixture. Oh, look at that. This is going to be a fucking epic quesadilla. Okay. So then it wouldn't be a quesadilla without like some sort of cheese. So I have part skim mozzarella. You can use lactose-free, actually this is organic lactose-free mozzarella, just to keep in mind if you're lactose intolerant or whatever, and there's plenty of other dairy-free options, but I just have the lactose-free mozzarella because it's pretty decent. I find cheese with soy properties just turns me off altogether, so I can't do it. Okay, so now I'm just going to add just a little bit more vegetables. I love them. There we go. Oh, how cute. Okay. So now the fun part happens. We're gonna fold these guys in half. So you go in half. Fold it. And now we are going to bake these suckers for an additional 6 minutes at 400 degrees. So look how cute they are. So basically they're just gonna be half quesadillas. Ah, adorable. Here we go. Cool. And set the timer for 6 minutes just so we can get that cheese melted. Good. Okay, so, oopsie. So we're removing the quesadillas from the oven here. This is the finished product, but we're just gonna let them cool for about 5 minutes, and then we're gonna hack them up and devour them. But if you wanna come here, come hither. Come this way. So as you can see, we've got our delicious quesadillas here. They're ready for harvesting. They kind of look overstuffed, but that's the way I like it. So we are gonna hack them up with a butcher knife in a few moments time and devour them. Perhaps report back, maybe show you them plated, I don't know.